Okay, excuse me. So this is the video to the study guide for the test tomorrow. So Diego's dog weighs more than 10 kilograms and less than 15 kilograms. So select all the inequalities that must be true if W is the weight of the dog. So more than 10 kilograms, so that means W is bigger than 10. And less than 15 means the weight is less than 15. Well, more than 10, less than 15. Now, while 11 is more than 10, the dog could weigh 10.5, 10.1, etc. And so it can't be those. So it's only A and F. Okay, select all the numbers that are common multiples of 4 and 6. Well, 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. It goes all the way up to 60. 44, 48, 52, 56, 60. Well, then we do 6. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60. And so, well, what answers were there? Multiples, so it's got to be bigger. So there's 12, 24, no 40, but 60. And so those aren't the only ones, but they're the only ones listed. Because 36 isn't there, 48's not there, but they're the only ones listed. And so those are our answers. And so now, these 4 numbers are plotted on a number line. What is the correct ordering from left to right? So in other words, least to greatest. Well, we got a 3, an 8, a 5, and a 2. Well, what do all those numbers go into? 3, 8, 5, and 2. Well, 6, 16, 10, 4. 12, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Well, eight's going to go into 24 because there's 24. 2 is going to end up in 24 because it's even. But 5 won't. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. But 3 is not going to go into 40. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a common denominator, something that 3, 8, 5, and 2 all go into. Well, if 8 goes into it, then 2 will. So one of the easiest things is, instead of trying to figure that all out, 8 times 5 times 3. Well, 8 times 5 is 40, times 3 is 120. Now, what am I doing? I'm getting a common denominator here. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is put these all over 120. So that I can compare them. So to get from 3 to 120, I multiply by 40. So times 40. Well, 2 times 40 is 80, so that's negative 80. Well, to get from 8 to 120, I have to multiply by 15. Because that's the 3 times 5. So times 15 times 15. And so 5 times 15 is 75. And to get from 5 to 120, that's the 3 and the 8, so that's times 24. Well, 1 times 24 is 24. And half, well, to get to 120, that's times 60. So, negative 60. And so now I put them in order from least to greatest. So the most negative is negative 80. The next most is negative 60. And then negative 24. And then positive 75. And then I change them back. So negative 80 was negative 2/3. And so that means that it's got to be C, because it's the only one that starts with negative 2/3. And then negative 60 was negative half. Negative 24 is negative 1/5. And it ends with 5/8. So get a common denominator and then put them in order. And then switch them back. Okay, question 5. The elevation in feet of 3 cities are marked on the number line shown below. The point O on this number line represents sea level. Which statement must be true? So which of these is true? So the city P and Q are above sea level. Well, if this is sea level, well, P is above and Q and R is below, because Q is at sea level. So P is above, R is below, Q is at. So city Q and city R are below sea level. Well, again, city Q is at. So city P is above sea level and city Q is below sea level. Doesn't work. City P is above, city P is above sea level and city R is below sea level. And so there you go. So we read the question carefully and we make a decision. Which point on the number line represents the opposite of negative 5.5? Well, so we want to go 5.5 to the positive side. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So that's S I'm at. So the opposite is positive 5.5. And so S is at positive 5.5. Okay, P, as this is P, R is only at positive half and Q is at negative half. So S is at the opposite of P. So question 7 has a part A and a part B. Look at the coordinate grid below. Which point represents 5, 3? So remember, we go left, right, and up, down. Okay. Left is negative, right is positive, up is positive, down is negative. And so we have positive 5, negative 3. So that means we're going to go right 5, down 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. And so that's point R, which represents negative 5, positive 3. So that's negative 5, positive 3. And so that's left 5, up 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. And so that's P. Point A and point B are places on a number line. Point A is at negative 20 and point B is 5 less than point A. So if we have our number line, negative 20, so then negative 21, negative 22, negative 23, negative 24, negative 25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And less. So we're at negative 25. And we went less is left. So we went left and we're at negative 25. Well, this says negative 15, so goodbye. This says negative 25, but to the right, goodbye. Negative 25 and to the left, so our answer is C. Okay. Which number has an absolute value greater than 5? Well, so we're looking for anything 6 or bigger. And it doesn't matter positive or negative. Well, there's a 6. Because absolute value is distance from 0. And so 6 or bigger means it's 6 spaces from 0 or more. And so negative 5 is 5 spaces from 0, 0 is 0 spaces from 0, and 5 is just 5 spaces from 0. And so 6 spaces from 0. Okay, George has $23 to spend on supplies. He wants to buy markers, paper, and glue. The total of the markers and paper is more than $14. Which inequality represents the dollar amount, about P? And I think that's supposed to be amount. George can spend on glue. Well, 23 minus 14. Cancel, borrow. 13 minus 4 is 9. So he spent more than 14, so he has less than $9. So P is less than 9. And so that's A. because they spent more than $14, so they had less than 9 left. And since we started with 23, these numbers make no sense. And spending more than 9 means that he would end up spending more than $23. Alright, so coordinate plane written below represents a town. Curtis's house is at -4, -5. So that means left 4, down 5. And Gene's house is at -4, +3. So that's left 4, up 3. Plot and label the points where Curtis's house and Gene's house are located. So we start at 0, 0, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's Curtis's house. Then we go left 4 and up 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And there's Gene's house. Now, each unit on the grid represents 5 miles. So that means that that's 5, and that's 5, and that's 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. So how far away from Curtis's house is Gene's house? Well, 5 and 5 is 10. 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 10 and 10 is 20. 10 and 10 is 20. 20 and 20 is 40. And so 40 miles. Which temperature is warmer? -2 degrees Celsius or -5 degrees Celsius? Well, 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Going that way is colder. This way is warmer. And so we've got a point here at -5 and a point here at -2. So which one is warmer? So which one is closer to the right? Well, -2 degrees Celsius is warmer. It's farther to the right. Now write an inequality to express the relationship between -2 and -5. Well, -2 is greater than -5. Or -5 is less than -2. Either way, on the line graph, on the number line, graph all the numbers that are warmer than -2 degrees. So we want an open circle at -2. Okay, since it says warmer than -2, it's got to be an open circle. Okay, this means -2 is included. Well, -2 is not that greater than -2. That's not true. And then since we want warmer, we would choose the arrow that goes this way. Okay. And then we've got this polygon that we have to draw. Well, it's -2, -3. So that means left 2, down 3. Then B is at 0, so we don't go anywhere. And then we go down 3. 0, up 1. +3, so right 3, up 1. +3, so right 3, up 3. -2, -3, so left 2, up 3. And so when we graph this out, we go -2, down 3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And there's A. Then we go 0, down 3. 1, 2, 3. And there's B. Then we go 0, up 1. And there's C. And then we go right 3, up 1. 1, 2, 3, up 1. And there's D. I think I made a mistake somewhere, but we'll find out in a minute. And then we go right 3, up 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we go, and so there's E. And then we go left 2, up 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And there's F. All right, so that, and there's our shape. And so those are all our points. All right, and so then for our last question. Water has a freezing point of 0 degrees Celsius. The table shows 5 different temperatures in degrees Celsius. And so indicate whether the temperature is above or below freezing. Well, 0.5 is above freezing. -13, it's negative, so it's below freezing. 100, it's positive, so it's above. 5.5 is positive, it's above. Negative, it's below. And that's it. That is everything on the test, and you are good to go. Good luck.